and that's what happens when you don't measure. I've got envelopes to show you. They're string tie envelopes, and they're a brand new product in my line. I'm going to show you 3 ways to put them together. I've also got a clever organization tip using a vintage plate. And stick around to the end because I'm going to show you how to get these pretty printables for free. Here we go, y'all. Well, hello and welcome to Pink Paper Peppermints. My name is Melissa and I'm so glad you're here today. We are working from my new kit, So Easy, and it has a crafty sewing theme. And I have a brand new product. They are called string tie envelopes. And so this is just a quick video to show you how to put those string tie envelopes together. And you can see here, you get 2 envelopes. This is the quilted patchwork envelope. And it comes with circles that you can fussy cut, but also I give you this little block of pattern so that you can use a circle punch. The circles are about 3/4 of an inch, and of course your punch is probably 1 inch, so they're a little bit different, but if you don't like fussy cutting, it's a good way to go. And this is the other envelope that you get in the kit. You also get an instruction sheet that's basically the written version of what I'm going to show you right now, in case you're more of a written person, or if as you're working you want to remind yourself without going back to the video. So once you get all your pieces cut out, the first thing that you want to do is fold the flaps of your envelope. And of course, if you have a scoreboard or a bone folder, that's going to make your creases nice and crisp. And then once you get those all folded, you're going to attach your reinforcer circles. And you're going to put them about, the one on the flap on the right, you want to put it about 2 inches below the top of the envelope. So it doesn't have to be precise, but you want it about 2 inches down. And when you fold your envelope, you'll see why that's important. And I just used a stick pin, and this is a piece of crochet that I had laying around. And you want something soft underneath your paper, and you're just going to lay it on that. Another thing that works well is a mouse pad. If you have a mouse pad, you can use that. And you just want to poke a little hole in the center of your circle and in the center of your flap. And if you want to measure it exactly and line the circles up precisely, you can do that and then make a little mark with a pen. I don't tend to do that myself, and I usually have to redo things, so take that for what it's worth. Then you're going to use some little tiny brads. I use these 1/8 of an inch brads, and I wanted to show you this little plate that I have. It's a vintage plate that I got at a garage sale, and it's kind of chipped up. And so what I decided to do was, I saw this in a magazine, gosh, years ago, but I put some magnets on the bottom of the plate, and so now I can put pins and brads and little tiny things that I'm working with on it, and they stick to it and I don't lose them. So that is a fun, handy little trick if you sew, or even if you craft with small little metal things. That's a fun trick to know. So we're going to put those brads in our circles, and then we're going to line up the circles on the back. And so I'm just poking that through where I made my hole, and I'm going to do the same thing with that top brad. And I wanted to show you, this is what I mean by lining it up. Once we get ready to glue those flaps down, we just want those circles to be lined up kind of in a straight line, and then we don't want too much of a gap between the bottom of the flap of the envelope and the top of the circle. And really that doesn't matter, you just have to use more string, but I like it to be a little closer than that, and that's what happens when you don't measure and mark things. So that's okay. I just went in and poked another hole and moved it up a little bit so that it would be closer to the bottom of the flap. But you see what I mean there, why it's important that they line up. The other thing is, make sure that that bottom circle, see how it sticks out over the flap? You want it to stick out about 1/4 of an inch over the flap. And so now I've got both of my reinforcer circles attached, and we're going to adhere that flap to the other side, and just make sure you skip over where the brad is and don't get any glue on your circle. And then I'm gluing the bottom of my envelope, and then my envelope is almost finished. The next thing I'm going to do, I've got some bakery twine here, and this is the real bakery twine. This isn't the cute crafty stuff because it's a lot thicker. If you don't have the thin bakery twine, you can use embroidery floss for this as well. And so what you're going to do is tie it around underneath that reinforcer circle. You can tie it in a knot, or you can glue it. You can lift up the circle flap and just put a little adhesive on that, or you can just wrap it around a couple of times, and then you're just about finished. Now, in order to close your envelope, you're just going to lift that string up under your reinforcer circle over the top reinforcer circle, and you're just going to do a figure 8 up and over and around to close your envelope. And that's it. It's finished. Isn't that so cute and fun? So I wanted to show you a couple of other ways that you can attach your circles, and then it comes with a label too that you can put on the front. You can put it sideways and or over in the top corner. You could also use a piece of ephemera. This is a piece of ephemera from the kit, and make it like a little file card. But I'm going to do the next envelope now, and I wanted to show you a couple of other ways. One way that you can attach these, if you don't have brads, is you can just sew them on, take a couple of stitches with some embroidery floss, and I have got this gorgeous variegated pink embroidery floss. I'm just getting a piece of paper so you can kind of see it. And I will link her shop below where I got this. So cute, and it comes in a lot of different colors. And I'm using that, and also those little embroidery scissors. They're like holographic, and they come with a little tassel. I love them so much. I got them from the same shop. So I will link that below. So I'm just taking a little stitch. I've tied a knot in my floss at the bottom, and I'm just going to take like a little cross stitch. But you could also do a French knot if you wanted to do that. But if you want it to be real quick, all you do is just take one little stitch in it, and that will hold your circle on just like the brad. And then in case you don't have those little tiny brads, that's a great way to do it. And plus it's really cute. It kind of matches the theme of our kit, the sewing theme. So then if you want to cover up that thread on the back, you could use an extra reinforcer circle and cover that up, or any kind of piece of pattern paper. I personally like to just leave the strings loose because, you know, I like strings. And so you're going to do the same thing. Now, another fun thing that you can do if you want to get really fancy, especially if this is for a gift maybe, is to use buttons. And I've just sewn the buttons on over the reinforcer circles, just the same way we did when I just took a stitch in the circle. I just sewed those buttons right over it and used those instead of the circle to wrap my thread around. And you can see I used that pretty floss, that variegated floss, as my string tie around the buttons. And I think that's super cute too. Now with floss, it's going to kind of come apart at the bottom. So one thing that you can do is just tie a little knot in it, or you can add a charm or a bead and then tie a little knot in it. And then that will add some character to your envelope. On the front, instead of using the label that came with the kit, I thought it would be cute to put one of the pieces of word art from the ephemera kit. So this comes from the ephemera kit that's part of the whole collection, and I just added that on the front, and I thought that would make such a pretty Happy Mail gift. I know I would love that gift. So if you liked these envelopes, then I have another video for you that I think you will really like. It's got 3 very unique envelope ideas, and I will link that at the end of this video and also in the description below. Now, there was one more thing that I was going to tell you, which is how to get those free printables that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. These are just a couple of the free printables that I send to my subscribers because I love and appreciate them so much. So if you would like to get these, I will be sending these out for the whole month of August. And if you miss it, if it's not August anymore, I would still sign up, because every month when I release a new kit, I give lots of free printables to my subscribers. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a week filled with peace and grace, and I will see you next time here on Pink Paper Peppermints.